What's going on, guys? So today we're going to look at solving proportional equations. All right. So first, I'm going to give you all a couple of important tips. There's only 2 steps here that'll help you do this. Okay. And the key word here is equations. If you understand how to work equations, 1-step, 2-step, multi-step, special case, you'll be just fine. All right. So the first thing you need to remember to cross multiply. Okay. Cross multiply. And the second thing that you're going to have to remember to do is just solve. Okay? So cross multiply, then solve equation. Remember how we solve equation. Okay? You do the opposite. All right? We solve equations using opposites. So we're going to roll through some examples here. All right? So let's look at our first example. Example 1. Let's say we have 7 over 5 equals x over 3. All right? So what we're going to do first, we're going to cross multiply. What it means to cross multiply, you multiply your diagonals. Okay? So we're going to have 7 times 3. What is 7 times 3? It's 21 equals 5 times x. What's 5 times x? 5x. All right? So the first thing we did there was we cross multiplied. Okay? And then what we're going to do next is we're going to divide by 5. Okay, that's the opposite multiplication. Divide one side by 5, which is to one side, you do to the other. All right, and our answer is going to be all that's left over here is x equals, and if you go to your calculator and you do 21 divided by 5, you will get 4.2. All right, 4.2. So I'll write these steps up here down. So what we did was we did 7 times 3, and we did 5 times x. Okay, so and we got our answer there. All right, that's our first example. Let's look at another one, and they'll get a little harder. I'll give you an easy one, a couple more difficult ones. So let's say if we have 4 over m minus 8 equals 8 over 2. Now, the one thing we have to think about here, what's different than example 1? What's the difference from example 2 to example 1? All right. The difference here is we have a whole term right here. Okay. We have an m minus 8. Okay. Up here we just had number, variable, number. This, you need to treat this like parentheses. Okay. So when I cross multiply, all right, here we'll do step 1. We did 4 times 2, which is 8. All right. Second thing we did, multiply these together. This, and we multiply those. The reason I put those parentheses there, this is 8 times m minus 8. Okay? When we see these parentheses, that tells us to distribute. So I'm going to write this just like that down here. Sometimes some of you all will try to do that in your head, and you'll get ahead of yourself, and it will cause you to get the answer wrong. So if you just write those like that, hopefully you can view that as a multi-step equation. Okay? Next, what we're going to do, again, if you think about what we've done in the past, number outside parentheses tells me to distribute. Okay? So we're going to distribute, which would be 8 times m is 8m. 8 times 8, nope. 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. And whatever's left, we bring it down. Now what type of equation do we have? We have a 2-step equation. Okay, so what we're going to do next, we're going to add 64, So what we do to one side, you do to the other. And what's left over here is you have 8m equals, what's 8 plus 64? 72. And our very last step that we're going to do here, we're going to divide by 8. So we do to one side, we're dividing because the number of variables side by side means multiply. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. And you get a final answer of m equals 9. And you can check your work by taking this 9 and subbing it in and seeing if you get the same, see if you get both sides equal each other. So if I take my 9 and put it up here, 9 minus 8 is 1, 4 divided by 1 is 4, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 equals 4. So we know that that 9 will work there. Okay? All right. Let's look at another one. So all we're doing here is we're just cross multiplying and solving. Okay? Let me see if I can find one that's a little more difficult. Okay, here we go. This is a pretty good one. So say I have x minus 6 over x minus 7 equals 9 over 2. Okay. Now I'm not going to list all my steps here, all right, because I've done this already, but we're going to go through this together, and I will do it in different colors so you can see the steps. So let's cross multiply first. Now what will help some of you all, let's take these, let's put them in parentheses. Okay. This is 2 times x minus 6 equals, cross multiply here, 9 times x minus 7. Okay. Now again, you can do this in your head if you want to. No, 2x and then negative 12, 9x and negative 63, that's fine. Some of you all might need to write this down like this. You can see the steps there. Okay. Now, we're going to distribute just like we did here. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 6, no. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Use your multiplication to determine your sign. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times 7, nope. 9 times negative 7 is negative 63. Okay, I'll draw my line here. Sorry. Not a lot of you like that line there. Okay. Next, all right, we want to get our variable to one side. Remember our steps when we have multi-step equations. Please don't call me after midnight. All right. So let's get our variable to the same side. We can go 9x over here or the 2x over here. I like the variable on this side. The opposite of positive 9 is negative 9x. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay. 2 minus 9x is negative 7x. Bring down my negative 12 equals, those are canceled, negative 63 is all that's left. Okay. Next, two-step equation. We get rid of our addition and subtraction first. So I add 12, and what I do to one side, I do to the other. Drop down my negative 7x equals negative 63 plus 12 will give me, anybody, negative 51. And my last step is to divide by negative 7, because when I have a number and a variable side by side, that means to multiply. Divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7, and x equals 7.29. Okay? Negative divided by negative is a positive, and 51 divided by 7 is 7.29. All right? So, if you need the steps, what we did first, we cross multiplied, and I'll abbreviate here. The second step we did, distribute. Then we move the variable. All right, and after that, we added 12. Okay, and my very last step was to divide by 7, negative 7, I'm sorry. Okay, so the main thing when you do proportional equations is to cross multiply, and then you just solve like equations, okay? And if you understand equations, then solving proportions should be fairly simple to you. The only thing to remember is a lot of times you're going to have like an m minus an 8 either in your numerator or denominator. And when you cross multiply there, make sure you treat that like a distributive property. If you have to do this extra step to show yourself that those need to be distributed, then do that extra step. Okay? So again, if you guys have any questions, make sure you email me and I will try to help you out as best I can. Hope you all have a good day.